Oh boy. Hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of From the Fourth Line. My name's Emma and I'm joined as always by my lovely co-host Ella.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back from our little 2-week break that we took over the Olympics. Just because at the end of the day this is a Leafs hockey podcast, and while we could sit here and talk about hockey at the Olympics and the players of the Toronto Maple Leafs that are at the Olympics, man, it was nice to have the 2 weeks of break.
I needed it.
I think we all sort of needed it in a way of yeah, I watched way too much of the Olympics. I watched all the Olympics. And it was awesome. But yeah, I think we all sort of needed the break for sure. Now NHL hockey is back, and I feel like I need another break from the past 3 days.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, this isn't really a sports. We can't sit here and tell all the other wonderful non-hockey stories of the Olympics because there were some really good ones that were out there that were really awesome. But yeah, the Olympics happened. Team USA won gold in both the men's and women's hockey. Canada won silver in both the men's and the women's hockey. Finland took bronze in men's hockey, and it was Switzerland in women's hockey. For the bronze medal, making Toronto Maple Leafs captain Austin Matthews a gold medalist. He's never gonna. Sorry, I was about to say something really neat. Oh, I'll say he's never gonna get that triple gold club thing because he can't win a Stanley Cup because Leafs suck. Anyways,
Never gonna get a good hairline either.
moving on. Sorry, I think the biggest story out of this, besides, hey, now Sidney Crosby is out for 4 weeks due to a lower body injury that he suffered against Czechia, and, a bunch of other different stories about different things. I think the biggest story that's kind of taken over the hockey zeitgeist for the past half week, 3 days, has been sort of not even necessarily about the game. People have moved on from the game. It has been now USA's post-win celebration and everything that sort of followed that in the media and in politics and things like that. And it's one of those things where it's people say, hey, why you can't why do you make sports political? Why should sports be political? And then you walk into a situation like this where sports have been made political through the actions of others. So sports are always going to be inherently political. They're always going to be political, even if this never happened, sports are still political. That's just the nature of any time you have different people from different regions and countries going up against each other in a competition. Is that not also just politics?
Yeah.
And there is a winner, there is a loser. Sports politics are very closely aligned, and oftentimes you see it reflected in the way sports are talked about and discussed and take place and represent. But USA, so to outline this out, USA wins off of a OT winner from Jack Hughes. And then later in the locker room, after they have, which this was one of those things that I was maybe I was in elementary school when this happened, when NHLers were back in the Olympics. I was did they actually have a full champagne, have to tarp the locker room, ski goggle type post-win celebration? I'm trying to remember, and I can't, because all that's really locked into my brain about post gold medal win celebrations with NHLers is that one video that PK Subban took where it's Sid, say something, and he's sup. 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 And then John Tavares is there and he's yo, and I'm I've never seen John Tavares say yo in his entire life,
and I never want to see it ever again.
And I'm I don't think John Tavares is a human that's meant to say yo.
No.
Right, that's that video. And that's the only thing that's ingrained in my brain about the post-win celebration of those gold. It's just that video from 2014 from Sochi. It's PK saying, and he's yo, Sid, say something. And he's sup.
Sup.
But after this post went, which like whatever, okay, celebrate it like you whatever, like you just want to say like, yeah, get those, which by the way they were Smith goggles. I can tell because I have the same goggles on my ski helmet. Like I use
Oh my
the
god,
same.
Sid, I love your work.
The one in the USA ones, they were Smith goggles, and I know
Oh.
that because I have the same style of goggles that like I wear to, like now to ski in. It's just one of those things I know, so I'm like, oh, I have those. Not that color, but that model. Anyways, post their win in the locker room. First of all, the director of the FBI, Kash Patel, is there, which is crazy. I'm sorry. I think it was Jon Stewart who said this on his show this week, where he like referred to Kash Patel as a Make-A-Wish kid, and I laughed.
No, because like
I'm sorry. It's like putting the gold medal on him, like involving him in the celebrations, and this is no disrespect to
what the
make.
fuck is he doing there?
I'm sorry. Like think about it, how insane this is if you like take the American context out of it and you put like, let's, for the sake of people, because people are gonna be like, oh, you're just mad Canada didn't win. I'll put this in a fucking British context. What is it? What is your version of the FBI? MI5?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why did
Yeah.
I know that? Anyways,
You're
moving
just
on.
that obsessed with me.
Moving on. Like imagine you take the director of MI5, like, you know, and we're gonna put this in a really British context because we're gonna take it totally out of hockey. Great Britain just won the gold medal for men's soccer at the Olympics, which I don't know if that would ever happen. Doesn't seem likely.
No.
Anyways,
No.
they've just done it. They're in the locker room, they're celebrating whatever, and they invite the director of MI5 to come in and celebrate with them, and he's like he's one of the boys, and I don't
Which
actually.
I just want to say that would, just to put into perspective how batshit that is, I don't even know who that would be. I don't
Sir
know who's in
Ken
charge.
McCallum, why does he look like he's 35 years old?
Wait.
Oh, because he's like 50. I don't know why this one picture I saw of him made him look like he was 35. Sir Kenneth Douglas McCallum. Holy British name, my friend.
Yep.
That's a very... Sorry,
Yep.
I'm looking at a picture of him. This is the most British man in the entire world. Anyways,
Yeah.
Sir Kenneth Douglas McCallum walks into the locker room and he's like, what's up, lads? Let's fucking party, yo. And they put the gold medal around his neck and he's spraying champagne and he's like, yeah, let's go. Rah! You, Great Britain is the best. Rah, rah, rah. Like, fuck France. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that would happen. That yeah, that's accurate.
You know? Fuck France and fuck women. Rah! Just
Yeah.
imagining this situation that I'm painting. None of those beliefs that I've put into the mouth of this hypothetical Sir Kenneth Douglas McCallum reflect my own.
Really.
Anyway, I really hope he doesn't come across this and we don't get like sued for like insulting this man.
It's fine.
Anyways, and then you know, while he's in the room and they're all and then someone's like, hey, what if we call up what if we call up who's the prime minister? What if we call up Keir Starmer? I was Googling that. What if we call up Keir Starmer on the phone and he like tells us how proud of us we are of like our win, but he hasn't done this for any other gold medalist this entire 2 weeks at the Olympic Games, because it's been 2 weeks. This is at the end of the Olympics because soccer's at the end of the Olympics. You know, he hasn't done it for any other gold medalist for Team GB like the rest of the Olympics, and there's been like quite a few. I think, I don't know how well GB does at the Summer Olympic. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's been quite a few, and like some of them have been like really notable and like really historical. and like really awesome, and no one gets called except for the men's soccer team. And he then says, and then the women's soccer team also won gold, which maybe that seems more likely. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? That's more of a norm. It's more like, oh yeah, they kind of do this quite a bit. Or at least they medal, right? Like maybe they don't win gold all the time, but like they medal quite a bit. Because it's like them and I don't know, France going head to head every single year. Right? And you know, it's always like, yeah, this is what it's good. And then Keir Starmer, which I don't know if he would say this. I don't know anything about Keir Starmer whatsoever. I didn't even realize, oh, he's bad? Okay, perfect. This is a really great example I am making then. Keir Starmer then makes a really derogatory comment about women, about the women's team being like, well, I guess I have to like invite you to, what's the address of the house? The Prime Minister's
Downing Street.
I guess I have like, you guys want to come hang with me at 10 Downing Street like tomorrow? And all of the like guys are like, yeah. And he's like, well, I guess because the women won yesterday, we have to invite them too. And everyone laughs. I'm sorry, do you know how ridiculous this fucking sounds?
It sounds ridiculous, but the sad thing is I can see that happening.
You know how ridiculous
Because
this
they're all
sounds? Like when
terrible people.
I know the way I'm like, was like, I mean, I think I used a pretty great, like, hyperbolic situation.
Yeah.
Like when I take this out of the American context that is surrounding all of this, and I take Donald Trump completely out of this, and I put this in this new not so hypothetical country, in this not so hypothetical sport, and this not so hypothetical situation, except for maybe, you know, Team GB winning gold in men's soccer at the Olympics, right? And all of the details sort of just stay the same. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds insane. But that's exactly what happened, except like put it all back into an American context because all of the players are laughing, right? Like I think I'm over the loss. We'll do it again in 4 years. I think it took me a solid like half hour of me moping at work and like threatening to like pull an Atlee McGrath and walk off the hill into the snowbank and go lay down. I think it took me like 30 minutes of that. By the time I was going in for lunch, I was like at like 12:30, I was over it. I was over the loss. You know what I mean? It's like whatever. We'll do it again in 4 years. I'm already looking forward to like what players we're gonna have. And like we may not have Sid anymore, but like we're still gonna have Celebrini, we're still gonna have McKinnon, we're still gonna have Marner, we're still gonna have McDavid, we're gonna, you know, get Schaefer, we're going to have Connor Bedard. Like I'm like, hey, this is gonna be great. You know, I'm looking forward to it already. You know, 4 years, French Alps, 2030, let's go. You know, maybe don't put, you know, whatever the 2030 equivalent of Jordan Binnington is in net, but like, we're good. Let's go. Awesome. Go team. Rah, rah, rah. Maybe it also helped that like I had to like do a job and I had to get back to work. But like, I think the most upsetting part about it is just then all of this aftermath of like, hey, so you say sports aren't political, but here's this situation of sports being made very much political and very much hockey, which is this entity that is evil and gross and has been for a very long time. And we're continuing to learn how it's been evil and gross. And it continues to be evil and gross, even though people are like, well, I really hope it's changing, is not changing. And like, people are like, well, maybe they were just really drunk. I don't give a shit. I don't care how drunk you are. If you're laughing at a joke, that's not even that fucking funny. I'm sorry. That's the end. That's the other thing. Like, there can be a joke that's like a little bit meh to make and a little bit meh to laugh at in terms of like being politically correct. And it's like funny. That wasn't funny. That was just bad. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're all laughing at because I don't even think like, and I don't even know if it was like phrased as a joke. You know what I mean? Like maybe Trump is like, yeah, it was totally a joke. I totally said it. It was a joke. Like I really support the women's team. No, you don't. Sorry, but like if it wasn't like maybe, and they just all laughed anyways, which maybe says more about them than like them being like, well, we were just drunk and like we didn't really know, and it was like, oh, we were also caught up in the adrenaline of winning. So,
in fact, don't care.
I'm sorry, being drunk and if you're genuinely to your core not a misogynist, and you are all for like equality to women and equity to women and all these things, and you really love and support women's sports, and you really love and support the women's hockey team, as you've claimed, because you've gotten to hang out with them these past 2 weeks at the Olympics in Milan, like then to be like, oh, well, we laughed because we were just all caught up in everything. Well, then I don't actually think that's true, because if you really were, you wouldn't have laughed no matter how drunk, no matter how caught up in the excitement you were, because like you still have a brain where you can rub two fucking brain cells together and realize what's wrong.
2 brain cells is generous, but like I just
Next thing you know, like, and then, okay, so Team Canada was also diverted to Miami because of weather. There's weather in New York. There's a bunch of snow. So the planes for Team USA and Team Canada were diverted to Miami. Fair enough. Team USA then tries to figure out ways to get back to their NHL teams because games are literally played on Wednesday. Like they're being played today. We're recording this on a Wednesday, as we always do with our Thursday show. But games NHL, so like teams are going back to like, hey, I want to go home, blah blah blah. Like I want to, be ready for my team. What do they do? They go to a fucking strip club in Miami. And I'm sorry, I've seen some of the videos to come out of this by the way, a fucking strip club. I'm sorry, have a little bit of class. I know you're in fucking Miami, but have a little bit of class. I think going to, like, I don't care if you go to a club, whatever, and you party, whoop, whoop, whoop. A strip club in Miami, and this is not me shaming and degrading sex workers and strippers. You do you, women. I also think that they probably would find it a little bit unclassy to, like, celebrate your gold medal win at a strip club. I'm sorry, like... But, yeah, Ella's frozen. This is really great. There you go. Anyways, yeah, sorry, like I said, like, I'm sure, like, these strippers, which, like, I'm not here to degrade, like, the work of sex workers and strippers and things like that. Like, you do you. I respect the hustle. Like, I understand why, and I understand blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not here to say that, but, like, I think they probably would agree with me that, like, if you're gonna celebrate winning a gold medal, maybe you don't go to a strip club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. And then if you watch the videos of the strip club, it's so awkward because, like, all of them are just, like, this crowd of people filling this strip club, filming their phones of this, like, these group of, like, grown men partying on this, like, elevated stage. Like, I'm sorry, that's what it was. And that sounds, like, weird as hell.
Yeah. It's... Nah.
Like, it's weird. And then at one point, they, like, play the national anthem in this strip club, and they make the strippers stand for the national anthem.
Which, like, I don't understand what would possess you to do that.
It's just so strange and weird.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, if that happened, going back to the football thing, if that happened and Team GB gold medal winning football team went to a strip club, played the national anthem, and then made the strippers stand for the national anthem, I genuinely don't know how I would react. Like, it's insane. Like, what makes you go, oh yeah, I've won a gold medal. This is how I'm gonna celebrate. In what fucking world?
Also, keep in mind, to the best of my knowledge, Every single one of these players have a wife and or girlfriend. There's every single one of those players on Team USA has a wife or a girlfriend, and I get it. The border, like when you're dating a professional athlete, sometimes the line of a relationship gets blurred. It's just in the nature of the way. But like, no,
I would
no,
not be happy.
I'd be so fucking pissed. I'd be so fucking pissed.
I'd be like, dude, there were so many other places you could have gone.
Because you're in fucking Miami. Go to the fucking elbow room. Go to the elbow room. I don't know. Sorry, I've never been out. Like I've never been to Miami, so I don't know what clubs are there. But I'm sure there's so many more clubs than a fucking strip club. I'm sure there's so many more.
Mm.
And then we haven't even gotten to the part where they go to the White House for a visit. And they get flown there on Air Force One, because that's really just a great way to use tax dollars of civilians. Because who's paying for Air Force One? Civilian tax dollars. That's really great.
Spend it.
That's really, really awesome, guys. They go get flown to the White House to go tour the White House on Air Force One. No, it's not all the players. 5 of the players said no, or didn't say no, or just for scheduling conflicts. Okay. Now, of all the comments that I've seen from these players after the fact, I can believe that it was scheduling conflicts, because all of them fucking have no backbone. No morals. Because you can be like, well, they got invited to tour the White House, to visit the White House. That's pretty cool. It's like, yeah, who else was, and what other gold medalists from Team USA were invited to go tour the White House? Not a single one. Not a single one. And there was a lot of gold medalists from Team USA. There was 8. Not a single one. So you'd be like, well, it's the first time that USA's won a gold medal in men's hockey since 1980. So who gives a shit? I don't.
No.
That has no significance to me. And I'm sorry, but
also the thing that irritates me is how they're all like, oh yeah, I don't care who's in office. We were invited to the White House. I'm not being funny. If Keir fucking Starmer invited me to tour 10 Downing Street, I would tell him where to shove that invitation. Because I don't want to be associated with that.
That's the thing. It's you have to understand. It's yes, okay, it's a big honor to be invited to tour the White House and be invited to the White House. And yes, it's a big honor to meet the president, the figure of the president, what the president represents. Now, here's the thing. This specific president and this specific, meaning of the White House that this specific president has given the White House and has given the, American federal government and all the different things that he's in charge of is puts forth an imagery and puts forth a connotation and makes an implication about your politics that is not positive.
And
it's a lot of people, especially when you look at what's happening in the US right now. I'm sorry, Quinn Hughes, open your fucking eyes. I'm saying it directly to Quinn Hughes. I'm saying it to fucking whole fucking Team USA. Open your fucking eyes, turn on the fucking news, read a fucking newspaper, and look at what's happening in your own goddamn fucking country and have a little bit of empathy. I don't think that these are evil people. I do think there needs to be a demand of hey, I don't think you're an evil person. In fact, because I don't think you're an evil person, I think maybe you just don't know better because you don't know that there's something wrong. Open your eyes to the fact that there's something wrong.
Yeah. It's the fact that
put your tongue back in your mouth, stop licking his fucking boots, and realize what images you've just put forth that are gonna follow you for the rest of your fucking career. Because there's gonna be one day, when hopefully soon there's someone else in charge in office, and the White House and the president and that imagery of being the president of the United States is represented by someone else and means something different, and you realize just how different it means.
Mm.
And then there's the fucking State of the Union, which, I'm sorry, so fucking stupid. I'm sorry, they got fed fucking McDonald's, which, like,
Really?
I'm sorry. I think the concept of inviting these like pro athletes who care so much about like their bodies and everything, going and visiting the White House and getting fed fucking McDonald's is the funniest
It's
shit in the
comical.
entire. It's I know like maybe none of Team USA is like Nathan McKinnon level about his diet, but I'd like to imagine there's just one of them who had to sit there and eat McDonald's just to like give you a little bit of joy about this. Then there's the State
Mm.
of the Union in which Connor Hellebuck is just given the the president. I looked this up. I'm sorry. I had to Google this. Um because I didn't know what it was. Okay. The Presidential Medal of Freedom. I had to look up what this was. Connor Hellebuck was given the Presidential Medal of Freedom at the State of the Union. I had to look up what this was because I had no idea what it was. It essentially is, for our Canadian listeners, the American equivalent of the Order of Canada. I don't know what the British equivalent is. What is like your highest civilian award? Well, civilians can get like knighted, right? Like they could be like what do you get?
I'm
Like what do you get given to like be given like a title like sir?
yeah, that's like getting knighted and
That's a civilian. Is that the highest civilian award? Is it considered an
uh,
award?
I think knighthood is the best. I mean, if you get knighted, it's
Oh, the George Cross, I think. The Victoria, what? The George
uh
Cross. That's
the
the
George
prestige. The
Cross.
Victoria, okay. No, that's the Victoria Cross. It's for. Anyways, doesn't matter. You can get knighted. Essentially, this is like getting knighted because it like then gets added to your title. I know the Order of Canada. Like, if you were given an Order of Canada, it gets like added to your title,
Mm.
which essentially is like I don't know if the presidential medal. And it's the I know most of our like listeners are Canadian, so like I will say like it's the American version of the Order of Canada.
Mm.
And it's given to the president. Select like the people who receive this medal are selected by the president and given it among three sort of like there's like three sort of category like ways of the contribution to the security and national interests of the United States or world peace or cultural and other significant public or private endeavors. Now, so yes, Connor Hellebuck is not the first athlete to ever be given said award. But the list of athletes that have been given said award are much more significant than fucking Connor Hellebuck, who stood on his head for one game
Mm.
at the Olympics. Um, like some of the athletes, just to give you a context of like the level of athlete I'm talking about who have been given this award, include Babe Ruth, um, Simone Biles, Tiger Woods, Jesse Owens. So like to like
Mm. Yeah, I'm seeing like sort of a
a
lot of people on one level, and then like if we go to like maybe 2/3 of the way down the ladder, maybe Connor Hellebuck is there.
like essentially like what this is now saying is that like Connor Hellebuck, Jesse Owens, to equal standing as athletes. Yes, they are
Mm.
equatable as
Which
athletes.
like no, no, they're not.
They're not. No, I'm sorry. It's not. I really hope in the way that this would make it so much fucking funnier is if Connor Hellebuck never wins anything ever again in his entire fucking life.
Oh, please.
Like he never wins a cup, never wins another Olympic medal, never wins another world championship, like never wins, another fucking whatever they're gonna, whatever
Mm.
best on best tournament the NHL is going to make
But
up
then
in
it's
two
like,
years.
oh, I hope sucking up to Donald Trump was worth it.
Because you're never getting
that's all
anything
you
else
got.
ever again. Like, that's
You're
all
never gonna make it.
You're never gonna make it. But yeah, and then it's like, then you get like the comments afterwards from the players. And like, I'm not excluding Austin Matthews from this. I'm sorry.
No.
His comment was probably the most spineless out of the bunch.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm looking at Leaf's latest for this. Go on. But it's the only one where I've seen the full quote transcribed.
Yeah.
Hold on, what is Leaf's latest? Oh, there it is. It was just, anyway, sorry. Oh, there's walk-ins posted.
Ooh.
Sorry, anyways. This is via Leaf's latest, but this is like from his media availability that he did today in Tampa, because he's going to play tonight. Austin Matthews described visiting the White House yesterday as a huge honor for him and his teammates, becoming the first U.S. hockey team to win gold. I really hope he said, I really hope this is just like a mistranscription or something, or someone like first U.S. men's hockey team to win gold in 46 years. I'm sorry, that's a really important fucking connotation. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
In 46 years. He made it clear he is not very political, but viewed the invitation as a great honor, regardless of who is in office, and hopes the moments like this can help bring the country closer together. Get the fuck out of here.
Dude.
We're proud quote, this is now the quote. Quote, we're proud Americans, and doing something like that, winning a gold medal and representing your country, it felt like a special honor to be invited. I mean, it's an honor. So it was pretty neat to go there, see everything, and just kind of share that experience with everyone. I don't like to get political or get into any of that kind of stuff. Like I said, we're proud Americans, and winning a gold medal, especially since it's been 46 years since the men's ice hockey team has done that, means a lot. The team that wins the Stanley Cup every year gets a White House invitation. I just think it's something that you do because we are proud Americans, whatever your political beliefs may be. Hopefully something like this can bring more unity to the country and things like that. But for us, we believe it's a great honor no matter who's in office, end quote. There is one thing I would like, yes, okay. You can't deny that being invited to the White House is an honor, but you have to understand then accepting that invitation with this specific president in charge of the United States right now says. Because I will yes, okay, being invited to the White House, big honor. But like you then can't be like, well, it's a great honor, so like we have to ignore like what this president represents and like the political meaning behind it, because I don't like to get too political. I'm sorry. Like, you are a captain of not just Team USA, but also of an NHL team.
Yeah.
And I've said that, like, maybe I've like said this to people and stuff, that like Austin Matthews doesn't have the like aura to be Captain America.
No.
In the same way you look at like Hillary Knight, who like pisses me off so bad because she's like so much like a Captain America figure, like has that aura about her. Where it's like, I'm sure she's lovely. And I'm sure if I was not Canadian, I would probably actually really, really like her. Same way I like never liked Patrice Bergeron because he was a Boston Bruin like my entire life. Right? Like it's the same reason. Like I know Patrice Bergeron's like a really awesome, really great guy and has done a lot of really great, really awesome work. But you gotta understand, I grew up a Leafs fan and I hate that man so much because of what he's done on the ice. Yeah. Like it's so bad that I'm like, anyways. The team that wins the Stanley Cup every year gets a White House invitation. Have we seen if maybe that's because a Canadian team hasn't won since '93? Austin? Like, I really want to know if he's like aware that if he wins the Stanley Cup with the Toronto Maple Leafs that he's not going to the fucking White House. Like, I want him to know that so badly. Because I know that's going to make him so deeply upset because he's not going to get to go to the White House because he plays for a Canadian team. Meh. But, like, that's such a fucking spineless comment. And maybe he was asked in a different, I haven't watched the media availability or anything from him because I honestly don't give a shit. maybe he was asked about the comments about that were made towards the women's team, and he had some like bullshit answer about how much he's like, we're such good friends with them. They're so cool. We loved hanging out with them, but like didn't actually say anything of like, hey, so this is bad. I'm sorry. Like if you looked at fucking JT Miller's answer, he especially tried to be like, I'm a girl dad, so I like women.
But you still laugh at them.
But you still like, you know what I mean? It's like one of the things where it's like you can't just like fucking like girl dad your way through that bullshit.
No.
But yeah, I just like and specifically it's the thing with Austin Matthews where it's like, dude, your mom's Mexican. You have to be aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you just don't care. Or you just don't know what's wrong, but it's also one of those things where it's like your parents didn't talk to you. You're like, don't talk about this with your parents. Maybe just my parents are different. Like we talk, sometimes we'll talk politics. I don't know. You know, the first thing when I was talking to my dad about this, the first thing he said was like, I don't give a shit about the loss anymore. I'm over the game. He was like, I'm really fucking mad about afterwards. He was like, I don't like the way they laughed at the women's team. He was like, I don't like that Kash Patel was there. I think that's stupid. The way you can see my dad saying it though too.
Yeah.
Like, you know how my dad would say it too, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm over this. He's like, I don't care that they lost. I'm just more upset that they like can't, like they're trying to act like this isn't a political issue now. Because it is a fucking political. I'm sorry, it is. And it's not even for the hockey. Like, if you look into context of what happened in the games in terms of like actually like actively during an Olympic event, it was a great Olympics. Yes, okay. The thing with the Ukrainian luge skeleton. Oh my god, what was he? Skeleton luge. And his helmet, that was awful and terrible. And IOC will definitely need to answer questions about that in the future. And like now, but like it was a fairly safe Olympics. It was like there was nothing, there was no crazy political unrest that was going on in the background of this Olympics. It was a smooth Olympics. There was no issues I didn't hear any issues with any of the villages. Like, you didn't see that. Right? Like, those sort of things that tend to become stories during the Olympics, right? And then there's this ugly, dark, black stain that's just been put and thrown over the end of this Olympics. And, like, unfortunately, it could be a part of the legacy of this Olympic Games, which does a great disservice to all of the incredible athletes and all the other incredible stories that are so far removed from the the US men's hockey team that just now are a part of everything. Yeah, it's terrible. Awesome. Like, I'm sorry, you can't exist in this world and the way that things are going, especially with the US the way they are, and you like, whether you live in Canada, whether you live in the US, and like not be aware and like not be like, well, I'm not political. I don't to get too political. What?
How can you not?
And I'm not saying that everything of every day and every second of your life has to be like political and you have to see everything through a political lens, because that's exhausting and it sometimes gets annoying, right? But like, you just have to have that general awareness of like, this is what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And like, you should be able to have an opinion on things that's like firm. I will say, this is the fastest I've seen the Hughes brothers fall out of, like, the Hughes brothers right now. This is the fastest I've seen any player fall out of like the people's good graces.
Like, oof.
Because it's like, wow. All three of them. It's been all three of them. Luke wasn't even in there.
Yeah.
It's been all three of them. And it's like, I'm sorry, they like go on the Today Show and like, whatever. Get like, we love women, rah, rah, rah. We love our mom, rah, rah, rah. And I I mean this no disrespect to Ellen Hughes, and I'm sure like also she's put into a very tough situation because like she has very strong ties. First of all, she was an Olympian, represented Team USA. She has very strong ties to um very strong ties to the women's program and growing, women's hockey in the States and that program. And it's very like she was there, not just as their mother, but also like with Team USA with the women's program. Like she works very heavily with them and has very strong ties with them. She then has to like she then goes on and like she does an interview and she just is throwing out like all these buzzwords of like unity, friendship, growing the game, blah blah blah. Like all these like really weird buzzwords where I'm like, I know she was probably put in a very like hard, tough place because it's like it's her son's and it's also like her job and like there's this really like not meshing that's going on right now. But like I'm sorry. Like I think people assumed so much about the Hughes brothers because of Ellen that like now they're realizing that hey, no, just because like your mom is like really great hockey player and like she does all this work with the US like the women's program and stuff for your country and like all these things and you've seen all this stuff, it like doesn't make people like a good person automatically and like have good beliefs and like a strong moral system. Because that's not like the way that like I'm sorry, politics aren't genetic.
No.
You thought we would have learned that by now, but they're not. But yeah, about the Leafs, because like this is a Leafs podcast. We've talked about the Olympics enough. About the Leafs. Toronto plays tonight at Tampa Bay, and then they play tomorrow, which will be Thursday at Florida. So this show will, the events of whatever happens tonight in 20 minutes, will have already happened by the time, this podcast goes up. Anthony Sawyers is getting the start tonight in Tampa with Joseph Wool getting it tomorrow in Florida, just because Craig Berube says it's because Wool plays better against the Panthers than Stolarz does, which like, you know what?
I do.
Can't be mad at that reasoning.
Nope. Can't argue.
Dakota Joshua was taken off of IR after suffering a kidney injury against Detroit. He will not play tonight against Tampa, but he will be expected to be in the lineup in Florida on Thursday. Austin Matthews is expected to be in the lineup today with Easton Cowan scratched, as John Tavares, who missed a practice earlier this week due to the flu, will also be expected to be in the lineup. Who else? Oh yes, Morgan Riley will be back in the lineup after missing the end of the Leafs Canadian West Coast road trip due to an injury. Morgan Riley after the Olympics and all of the Tessa and Scott like content that's been put into my face over the past 2 weeks. Show me your rage. Where is your rage? Go out
Channel
there.
it, Morgan.
Morgan, go out there and be the best version of yourself that you could be on the ice.
Morgan, before the game, I need you to watch Tessa and Scott's Moulin Rouge. And then go out there and wipe the floor with them.
Yeah. So we will see how that goes. I don't know. It's the Leafs, have that game then tomorrow against Florida. And then on Saturday, they play against the Ottawa Senators back at home. So we'll see. It's a big stretch, especially with the trade deadline being next Friday. And like we said 2 weeks ago that this trade deadline was going to come up very, very quickly after the Olympics because it's like, oh, look, it's actually not that far away. But like you couldn't make any trades for like 3 weeks around the Olympics. So, you're going to start seeing some trades happen or at least some discussions happen. It'll be interesting. The Leafs are 6 points out of a playoff spot. While they're better off maybe looking at sort of doing a retool and eyeing next season. It is also hard because they have no picks or prospects. So you sort of have to like look at what you have on your roster that has trade value. There are some options. We will see what the moves are as we go forward. And that's legitimately all I have written down.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's all. So I guess that's all from us. In terms of a little scheduling update, we will. What? Do you have something to say?
It's more of a clarification because I realized I was slagging off Keir Starmer, and when someone does that, it's in one of two ways. It's either in a reform conservative way or a I vote green way. I'm slagging him off in an I vote green way.
Wait, so does this guy like not appease to either side?
Um,
Like does like or is there just or is it like a 3-4 pronged sort of like vibe that's going on? Because I
it's
know you
basically no one. It's like Reform don't like Labour. Labour don't like Reform. The Conservatives are not gonna get back into power. It's that's just not happening at the minute. So that they're whatever. I don't even fucking know what they're doing at the minute. Um, but then Reform and Labour kind of start holding hands because they both hate Green because um Green is the only party that doesn't just fucking despise young people, working class people, women, immigrants. Um yeah, the political state of my country at the minute is also in absolute fucking shambles. Um
Yippee. Yeah, so scheduling update from us. So I I am going down to Dunedin, Florida on Monday for to cover 2 days of J Spring training. This was an opportunity. I got sort of half through school, half through saying the right thing at the right time to the right people, which is the way this sports media industry works, I guess.
mhm,
So I will be down there. We might be able to have, record a show on the Wednesday. We'll see what my schedule looks like.
mm.
Um, see what stuff I have to do, but you might not hear from us again until after the trade deadline. And maybe that's for the best.
I think it might be, I think it
So,
might be for the best.
yeah, because cuz I literally fly down to Florida on Monday, and then like once I get there, I'm going right from the airport like to where the Jays are playing like all their spring training games, like to TD Ballpark, and then I'm like going back to my hotel, and like we're doing more stuff, and then like Monday I'm like all day. Anyways, essentially what I'm getting at
Busy bee.
is, yeah, I still also like am having a pinch me moment that I'm going down to Dunedin for Jay spring training, because like just even going to a Jay spring training game has been like a bucket list item of mine. So it's one of those things where I'm like, oh wow, like I get to do these things now, and this is like potentially going to become just like normal for me.
You're my favorite sports journalist.
Anyway, really excited to like add those Jay's credentials
It's
to
so
my
cool.
my little collection that I have, like that's behind me on the wall behind me, that like is just that really awkward line
Oh.
that's like sits behind me. So yeah. With that. So anyways, that's a little scheduling update because I'm going down to Florida. Um, but yes, in the meantime, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back probably after the trade deadline. So we wish you all
Oh.
sanity, um, from our team to yours, or from our brain to yours. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you can find the show wherever you get your podcast, you can also find the show on Twitter at From the Fourth Line. That's fourth with the number 4th. If you miss us so much between episodes, because like, or you just want
Hello.
to, or you just want to see what I'm getting up to in Dunedin, because I'll probably be doing some updates on that stuff. You can follow us both on Twitter at StickSealies for Ella, at PearB1 for myself. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back soon. And in the meantime, go Leafs go.
Go Leafs go.